Guys, there's a fantastic new show. It's the height of intellectual television that's coming out.
I'm so excited.
How excited are you?
I'm so excited to watch Milf Manor. I couldn't be more excited. Not like this isn't a copycat of Back in the Groove, which we already covered, which is about women in their 40s getting set up with men who are literally half their age, at times younger than half their age. Now TLC has just released their own take on this extremely disturbing trend, and it's called Milf Manor because they exclusively casted single mothers in their 40s with men in their 20s.
Then I demand we get DILF Den, which is just dad. It's just dad.
How about we just not have any of these things instead of making it equitable? Let's just get rid of it.
The double standard is palpable with this one, ladies and gentlemen.
So this trailer was like absolutely wild, and I wish we could show it to you guys, but we'll get claimed. So in it, one woman who is pursuing younger men said that it's because she has an extremely high libido.
Okay, stop.
I almost gagged.
Stop right there. I want that. That's a funny one because, imagine an old guy who just uses that line.
Ew.
That's even funnier if a guy says it. They're like, why are you sleeping with women that are like, hey, Mr. 45-year-old CEO, why are you sleeping with women in their early 20s? Well, it's because I like to have sex a lot, of course.
Yeah. Can we just not think of old people in a sexual context ever again, please?
What is it
I would go my whole life never thinking about the libido of anyone in that age range, please.
Whatever happened to modesty in that respect? It made sense when the men it felt relevant because it's just a trait of men to want to procreate with as many women as possible, and it just felt real to the world. This feels manufactured. I'm not saying the other one isn't just as what would you call it, abhorrent? I don't know. I'm not here to judge any of these people. They're legal. They're doing what they want to do. But I
am here to judge them.
I know.
I am definitely here to judge them.
40 is not old. Somebody in the chat says
because
40.
Women in this age range used to be married still. They used to have many more children, and they were in a respected place in their relative societies where they had loving grandchildren and they had legacy and skills that they could pass on to younger generations. And now they're
they can pass
useless
it on to younger
as far
men.
as wanting to. All they want to do is imitate people younger than them and fail at it.
Maybe that's okay. Maybe that's the thing here. When the 50-year-old guy is hitting on the 20-year-old women, he's just being a guy. When a 45-year-old woman acts like this, she's just being a guy. She's acting like
the worst kind of guy, really, and the most embarrassing kind. Because, sure, when a 50-year-old guy does that, it's probably more common, but also it's embarrassing because he can't, admit that he's not that guy anymore. He can't admit that he's washed up and old and ugly,
Yeah, but the thing is, in those situations, everyone understands that both parties are using each other. The guy is using her to get what he wants, and the girl is using him to get what she wants.
Sure, but if it's just some random 50-year-old guy hitting on some random 20-year-old girl,
I'm picturing if they did this show in reverse. And
if they made a show like this and recruited people who wanted to be there, it would be exactly the same. No one is getting taken advantage of here. They're just all embarrassing themselves because of what they're showing to the world, this is what they stand for.
And so
then
are all
another
moms.
Bogus claim for why she was doing this show was one of the moms said that younger men are more energetic and they think outside of the box.
What does that even mean?
I think that we all can agree that a 21-year-old guy barely thinks at all, let alone outside of the box.
Actually, what he wants is to get in your box. Sorry.
Yikes. This is obviously a whole psyop. It's a concerted effort because they're trying to normalize age gaps only when women are older.
Well, yes, because when men are older, it's a problem.
Well,
Mia Khalifa says so.
When men are older, it's a problem because that still leaves the possibility for reproducing. Let's end humanity, basically. Let's just lead to the extinction of our species by normalizing older women with younger men, because it leaves no possibility of anyone having children.
Our Fontanez in the chat wins with he says dating old people is cheaper. Senior discounts for the win.
I just had that one theory. I don't know. Leave your theories in the chat for why they're trying to normalize this. But I think that once the culture shifts on this or in other ways, then like realizing that this is super weird. Madonna and Cher and Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner, all of these women now who are participating in it are going to have a lot to answer for, to atone for.
But also, I want to point out a lot of the examples, people, you just gave examples. Somebody mentioned Jennifer Aniston in the chat. These are examples of women with immense bank accounts that can spend tons of money on making themselves look younger than they are. They do not look like Jennifer Beals is gorgeous for her age, but she's also still like, you don't look your age. You look like somebody who looks younger than your age. So we're not actually like into older women. They're into older women that just have the technology and the money to look like younger women.
In the case of Madonna and Cher, I would say they don't look younger than their age, but they also don't look their age. They're looking like something entirely
Well, they don't even look human at this
other
point.
Other than human.
They look like really badly designed sex dolls.
Yeah.
Like badly designed.
And that's what I want to address is like when you show women on a show like this, it's degrading to them and it's arguably predatory to the younger contestants too.
And the argument isn't always like, in all the television shows that ever do this type of storyline, it's always like, I'm older and I have a more developed sex drive now and I'm more confident as a woman at this age.
Because getting divorced totally will improve your life, right?
Yes, apparently. Well, I mean, I don't think they always necessarily talk about them being divorced.
Well, all of these women either were never married or were divorced. But all of them have children.
It is interesting that for at least a decade now, I can remember shows that did storylines where older women would spend time would get with younger men, but it would usually end with them realizing they don't have anything in common. So the show found the right answer eventually. It was just a theme they explored. This isn't looking to explore the actual theme. It's just looking to exploit it. Exploitation, not exploration.
Do you think that the guys in this show are being taken advantage of?
No. I think that they're straight men in their 20s, and what they want to do is have sex with women.
The one thing I will say is weird and arguably predatory is that on the other show, Back in the Groove, they were inviting like a couple of the women's sons to be.
That's not weird at all.
In the contestant pool, and then they didn't tell the other contestants, the women, that they were related to the female contestants, and then just waited to see if they would get together.
Hollywood is so freaking weird.
But like, it's all about like showing you something like this just so that you feel like you're the weird one for watching it, right? But you're the weird one producing it.
No,
and
I don't think
selling
it's
it
to
to people.
I don't even think that's it. I think they want you to not feel weird about it. I don't think they want people to feel like it's weird. They just want it to be. It's kind of like.
But where's the excitement in it if it's not weird and crazy?
Then the idea is like,
if it's
weird,
normal, why is it easy to sell? How's the shock?
Normal, but not common. Maybe that's what they're looking for. Normal, meaning that, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not common.
I will say openly, like, there is something wrong with that. There is something wrong with women in their 40s dating men in their 20s. Like, I would say that there is something very wrong with that.
I honestly, I have more of a problem with it being a show than them actually doing it. I have more of a problem of them turning it into a circus, of something for entertainment than I do the idea of, in the real world, a man in his 20s with whatever life experience he has meets a woman in her 40s with whatever life experience she has, and they click and they get along and they work together. I have no problem with that. I think it's less common than what we normally see, which is women and men. Like, what is it? The average relationship, the man is 5 years older.
Something like that
is like, that's the most successful relationships, or the man is like 5 years older. But it's like, look, I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm saying that your version of the TV show is clearly done with a double standard, in that they would never allow this show to be made in the opposite direction now, because it would be,
because it's weird, and it's weird both ways. They wouldn't. I don't even think that a type of show like this should exist in the first place, because you are coarsening the culture. And like, don't forget that a channel like this TLC, it stands for the Learning Channel. And tell me exactly how you're educating the public by exposing them to this kind of content.
Yeah.
Like, I saw in the comments, someone said, remember when smut was smut? It was consumed clandestinely and there was a certain stigma to it. Now it's commonplace and readily available to our most impressionable and vulnerable family members, our children. I mean, and other people were like, just when you thought the world couldn't sink any further. This is all like to demoralize. I think that's what it is.
Look, I'm flip flopping a little bit back and forth here. I'm like, look, my problem here is that I think the show is stupid. I don't think that the men are being, I don't think they're being predatory towards the men. I think that if I tell an 18-year-old girl who did an episode of Skins and had to get naked, I'm like, look, you were an adult, you made your decisions, you chose to do that show. These guys know what they're doing. I also do have doubts in my mind that say that this the relationship doesn't work out. Do I believe that he's scarred for life if it doesn't work out? No.
Well, nobody believes that anyone is falling in love on reality TV.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like, in a situation like this, they're not meeting these men because they want to be with them forever. They're meeting with them because they want to have sex. It's about sex.
Right, which is like, why don't you just hire a prostitute then, you weirdo? Like, why do you have to broadcast it
to the
entire world?
But Mary's against prostitutes, too, so what do we do?
Well, it's a profession that they say you can't get rid of. At least it can be illegal.
It will be there.
At least you can feel bad about it.
So
instead of broadcasting this to the world so you can become an influencer, it's just embarrassing for them.
It's just one of those things. I just don't know if I think that it's going to coarsen the culture that much, because I feel like the culture's already, like, part of this has grown out of a culture that's already been coarsened by high divorce rates, by weakened family structures. What makes this show possible is a culture that has already devolved.
I think it's both ways. Like, that makes the show possible. The show makes the society's problems worse.
It's like when we were talking about how, like, for the first time ever, trans is on Pornhub's top 5 search terms. The culture decides where we go, and the coarsening, like you said, of the culture is what dictates viewing habits. And all this is a demoralized and damaged culture that is being taken and used by capitalist society.
Next, they're going to make a dating show that's all about trans women paired with
Marco says
men.
that show is going through a pop culture crisis. Yes it is.
Oh.
So, like, but
that they're gonna like make a bunch of different shows that are like non-binary people and like polycules, and it just keeps getting worse and worse.
And I do believe that it doesn't help society. Like, I'm not saying that I think it's a good thing for society, but in large, I don't think anything on TV really is doing much good for society. It's just a matter of how much.
It could at least try to be net neutral. You know?
What would be okay? Then let me ask you this: what would be an example of net neutral? We have a show now. 25 exactly.
Avatar
2.
Exactly. Avatar 2 is the most neutral movie I think that I could point out from this year. Like, there is nothing in it that like makes me feel strongly about it. It was certainly a movie. Like, it was a movie.
I guess for me, I see something like this and I'm like, they're adults being adults, and I have more questions about the people who actually care enough to watch it. But like, they're not hurting any. Like, I don't think they're hurting anybody individually. I would care more about whether the individual is getting hurt, because it's a lot harder for me to judge whether the culture is getting hurt, because that's such a more vast question.
Another one of these stupid shows is I think called Too Hot to Handle. And the entire premise of the show is that you get docked points from your or you like get money taken off of your grand prize if you kiss anyone or have sex with anyone.
So it's like,
and they actually can't manage it. Like, they actually
can't
have
stop
sex.
Themselves. They can't stop themselves
because they will sacrifice tens of thousands of dollars to get instant gratification. Like, that's what this culture is all about.
The phone has already ruined people's ability to prevent themselves from constantly getting instant gratification. That's I fall on the opposite side about this, just in the context that I'm like, look, they're all adults making their decisions. I just think it's stupid. But like, if you're supposed to make something like this, I ask, what would be the net neutral version of it? Like, we have a group of exactly 25-year-old men and a group of exactly 25-year-old women. They've all gone to college. They've all got 4-year degrees. They're all doing this. They're all looking for the exact same thing via survey we asked them to fill out. He wants a wife. She wants a husband. He's a marketing manager. She works in real estate. And they're looking to find love. Like, that's boring too.
Trad reality show.
A trad, like, that sounds awful. I mean, actually, that might be kind of funny.
Yeah,
like,
there's an angle for everything.
There could be. What the hell? Okay, no. Let's workshop this. What would a trad reality show be like? It's like, she likes Hobby Lobby. He prefers to go to Target. Will they ever make ends meet?
Love is Blind is kind of trad. They make you get engaged and married.
It's I love
at the end of the show. Like, you have to get married. It's not just about hooking up with somebody.
And all of this is designed to be trash television. That people understand.
And there is a
trash.
place for that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just supposed to exist. Like, it's not going to. I would say that just by virtue of the genre it inherently belongs to, that it won't damage the culture as much as you might think. I think it's a sign of where we are as a society, not an indicator of where we're going.
I'm sure that in the grand scheme of things, almost nobody is going to watch the show or care about it or remember it even 6 months from now. So
what is the one when it's talking about people with weird fetishes or weird, you know what I'm talking about, right?
A reality show?
Yeah.
I don't know. I watch cooking shows.
See, that's what we need.
I watch fashion reality shows.
We need more cooking shows. Or more,
I liked Project Runway. I liked America's Next Top Model. I liked all that 2000s.
But you don't like that
shows.
modeling is inherently involved in the child trafficking industry, which means that wouldn't that be bad?
Okay, it's not an intrinsic problem though. It's not intrinsic to the business. It could not be.
It's I
but when you make a show called Milf Manor, it's kind of intrinsically
the
weird.
Name is really awful.
Yeah,
the name is really, really bad. Maybe
imagine admitting that you went on a show like that.
And then what we're learning,
cringy.
What we're learning is that secretly Brett's just jealous that he can't be on Milf Manor because he's too old now.
Is that what they're saying?
No, I'm still like that.
You're still younger than the Milfs on Milf Manor.
That is true. So look, I think it would be kind of funny to see somebody find somebody. Maybe we need Taylor Sheridan for this, since he's the only one who seems to make anything that is middle of the road that can appeal to conservatives but isn't conservative. Is that you have Taylor Sheridan develop trad, a dating show about trying to be in a trad relationship in an extremely non-trad culture. And it's like the girl, she's at the store. She's like, do I want the Fox News dress or the MSNBC dress? Do I want the Fox News dress? Do I want the MSNBC dress? And then she has to go, she's like, live, laugh, love. Where do I put my live, laugh, love poster? And then, or plaque that she has to put up. And it's him, and he's just
watch that.
And he's like, oh, I hate it when she spends 9 hours at Target. And look, I know there's a market for this, because my favorite Babylon Bee memes tend to be the ones that just kind of joke about traditional culture between men and women.
90 Day Fiance is really popular for that reason. You have to get married and you have to put up with each other.
There was a meme the other day that says wife starts planning husband's funeral after he doesn't respond to text in 13 seconds. I love stuff like that because it's so normie. My
favorite part of 90 Day Fiance was when I think her name was Anissa or something. She's at some lunch with her fiance. They aren't married yet, and he's like, "Why do you only seem to like me for what I can give you, like my money?" Yeah. And she's like, "You wouldn't be with me if I were ugly and fat, would you?" And he's like, well, no. And she just totally called him out because they both are taking advantage of each other for shallow reasons, and that's sometimes how it goes in the real world. I'm also going to give you an example of how Hollywood inches in on the culture little by little. I've been telling people that I've been rewatching the show Royal Pains because it's so wholesome. Well, here's a fun fact about the show. There's a character named Divya who's she's part of an arranged marriage. The show starts, she's got a fiance that she's known since she was a child. They're going to be married, and she has her second guesses, her doubts about this because she's mostly, for the most part, been raised in the West.
And in the show, he is very set on it because he's pro-tradition and she's not. And one of the things that they inch in on is like one of the girls that she knows in the show says like, how are you going to know if you can be married to him if you don't know if the sex is going to be good? Because she's like, well, we believe in our culture that you don't consummate the marriage until, after you actually have the wedding. And it becomes a thing where they end up breaking up and she becomes completely Western.
Wow.
In her beliefs, but they never disrespect the culture openly. They show it more as like a difference in tradition rather than what he is doing is inherently bad. He's never shown as domineering or as if he wants to control her. They've just both been accepted that they've been put into this marriage together and they have to work their way through it. And it's actually done with a strong amount of nuance. But what happens is she's still a Western woman. And she still falls for the stuff that are being told to her by other Western women who say, well, what if the sex isn't good? Rather than saying like, maybe you'll grow, maybe you can learn together because neither of you have done this before, that you develop a rapport in your sexuality after you get married. That's never even considered a possibility. The idea is just F people beforehand so that you can know whether it's going to be good or not, which is a Western ideal.
Which is like commodifying people, basically.
Yes.
But I think that all of these reality shows that get people married within like a month or a week or whatever, like extreme commitment in extreme circumstances, I think it's all about the return of arranged marriage because we've realized that we've totally effed up the whole like dating culture with the sexual revolution and social media and dating apps. We've like made such a mess of the whole thing that we're kind of returning, like unintentionally returning back to arranged marriage through reality television, which is exactly what 90 Day Fiancé is. It's exactly what Love is Blind is. It's the same thing.
In the real world, people are like, Dad, could you set me up with somebody to get married to? Like eventually maybe that comes back into fashion. Like the kids, it becomes
might,
the kids.
If we have no other choice.
And the dad's like, if I can get 5 donkeys and a mule.
I mean, if young people prove themselves to be just as incapable in the coming years of, meeting each other and getting married, then like something has to change or else humanity is going to go extinct.
Yeah, and look, it's just one of those things where our culture is so messed up when it comes to relationships and things like that.
Yeah.
Like I've never used a dating app. I don't think I could ever possibly get myself to use something like that. But it really shows like how our culture has gone because most, I guess that's different. Most of my friends that I grew up with met their fiancés or the people that they're with in college or at work or something like that. That's still a thing. But it feels like sex has been commodified in a way that it's no longer going to ever be the way it was. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.